Here we go again. Survival. Kind of a step by step for space engineers. So, we've manufactured enough pieces parts for our small cargo container. You will either need to find cobalt, which I have found over at Nya, or these four atmospheric thrusters positioned around your ship each have one metal grid in them. That is enough for one small cargo container. So you can grind those off. So put up our small cargo container so we can actually just dump stuff in there. We have some cobalt in the refinery. I'm getting low on everything else, but it's no big deal. So on the sides of your ship, here and here are interior lights. What you can do, I may just obliterate this light, but you just tap your grinder on it. Yep, we blew it up. You can tap your grinder on it and then quickly rebuild it, and that will unlock another bit of progression from here to the first tier with programmable blocks and projectors and stuff. So, we'll just slap that back on there. I said, no. Guess we obliterated. No, we were standing in the box. Okay. Actually, I don't like the position of that. We'll just we'll put it up here. There we go. Done. So, next step along the production line. Yeah, wrong thing. Progression. So now that we have somewhere to store all our cargo, and we have stuff producing power, it'd be nice to have a battery. Batteries are way, way more important when you're doing solar. So if you're doing solar, you want to get batteries going very quickly. So the easy way to do this, that I'm not quite ready for, and I don't recommend doing until you're all set on your power needs and you're done with your little rover and just ready to build yourself a little rover or something, is you can grind this battery down past the functional hack line and then rebuild it. Doing so will drain all the power though. So some other tips is in your H2O2 generator, in your little buggy here, you'll find an extra oxygen bottle and a hydrogen bottle. If you're on Earth, you only need the hydrogen bottle. If you're on the moon or somewhere that doesn't have oxygen, grab both bottles. So how these work is once they are completely emptied, is you put them back into the H2O2 generator or a corresponding tank, oxygen or hydrogen tank, set to refill bottles. And it'll refill it to 100% and just take it back out. So you can see this one and this one are empty. I recommend at least 3 bottles, if not more. You can see them filling up to 100. This will make using the jetpack in gravity a lot easier. Also, you can see that my energy is a bit down, and my hydrogen is a bit down. While you still have ice in your H2O2 generator, and you still have power in your battery, just sitting in the cockpit will refill both. So, we also broke down our survival kit. So, again, we're going to use the build planner. because it just makes stuff a little faster. We're going to add it to the build planner and go in here and grab components, withdraw components for build planner. There you go. And we're going to slap that sucker down, but instead of in a straight line, we're going to put it off to the side with the terminal, which has the little heart above the window, facing us. So the yellow connector is connected to the cargo container now. So the other way to refill your power and health and hydrogen, if you have a hydrogen generator connected, which is next, is to interact with the survival kit here. So you just walk up to the console here and hold F to interact, and it'll heal you, give you energy, and if you have hydrogen being generated or stored in your tanks, it'll refill all of that. So some other useful buttons for the rover here are spacebar is your handbrake. X, I don't recommend doing this on a slope. If you hold it down, will depress your suspension, and releasing it can have various effects. So be careful with that one. That's holding X. P is your parking brake. It will, or should, keep the vehicle fairly stationary. We won't say 100% stationary, because if you notice, it is moving at 0.07 meters per second. I don't know if that's just a display bug, but sometimes when the physics gets a little wonky, they do kind of drift away. So, something to watch for. So next is the hydrogen generator. So we can refill our hydrogen and oxygen if you needed it at the base. We have also gone ahead and built another wind turbine and started a third one. Should have most of the materials for the third one. Now, the hydrogen generator has two connectors on the sides and then two connectors long ways. So you can use this sucker to get more creative with your build designs to start expanding your base and filling stuff in. Or you can put everything in a giant line. It doesn't bother me either way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, at least for now, I need steel plate. Derp. Is I'm going to slap it up on top there. This will allow me to expand out in this direction, in this direction, at a higher vertical. So now, what the O2H2 generator needs is ice. Now, currently in our buggy's H2O2 generator, we have some ice, so we're just going to steal it. At least we're going to steal half of it. To split stacks, you hold right-click and drag. And then you just get in here and should be able to just drop it into the small cargo container. And the H2O2 generator, there it goes, should pick it up. And it'll fill up bottles or refill your hydrogen when you interact with the survival kit. And if you start seeing something like that, and hearing weird sounds, it probably means your power is out or being tapped out. So, what that means is we need more power. This is where a battery can help cover the inconsistencies. So hopefully I have all of that built. Looks like it. So we are using a mod called Stackable Wind Turbines. If you're not using this mod, just build what I would recommend is at least 8 up, and then you will have no interruptions. Just a tower with 8 and put a wind turbine on it. That way you will get the best uh, wind power production. So that should cover our power for a little longer. Now, figuring out how much power you need can be a bit tricky. But you can see 2 of these have optimal, and this bottom one is only good. So for a few more steel plates, I could probably get quite a bit more power. So another, what? Another 40 kilowatts. Yeah, no big deal. So another thing is these truss blocks. They're very easy to destroy with a grinder by accident. And they're also horrible on performance. They create shadows, and they have a lot more polygons than solid blocks. So if you're running on a lower end system, consider filling them in once you get a decent supply of iron. Next is probably the real assembler, a battery, and uh, drill and ore detector. There's the real assembler. So we built a basic refinery. And we don't really need anything else right this second, but we are going to need a real refinery. So right now, if you wanted to really speed up your drilling and your production, and you haven't done the survival kit yet, what you can do is you can get on here and make yourself a drill. And slap it on the front of the buggy here and just drive it up to a wall somewhere. If you are going to do that, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go into your control panel. You probably might want to do this anyways, but go and interact with all the suspension wheels. And you can see if we go down here to height offset, you can lower the buggy and raise the buggy with the height offset. Friction will help keep you from flipping over when you turn too hard. So 50% is okay. Cranking the speed limit up and the power provided to the propulsion will make the thing go a lot faster, but you have to be a lot more careful, or you will flip right over. So, what we're doing? Ah, yes, the drill. 10 large steel tubes, eh? Gonna run out of iron doing this. Yeah, maybe not. That's gonna take a while. So anyways, you would place the drill here. And let's see if we can find somewhere that would work. A slope can work, like here, in this little divot, where you would just drive the truck up with the drill running. And that way you can harvest stone in the drill, and then in the survival kit, you can start producing ingots. But if you've already made a base with a refinery, as I have, you might be better off with a cargo box. A medium cargo container is fairly cheap. Alright. So, the drill is backwards right now. Using the page up, page down, delete, home, end, can position the drill. Now you'll notice that when we put it on there, the front suspension sagged a bit. So it is now very front heavy. Control panel, wheels, and what we're going to turn up is the strength. Strength determines, well, you can also jump with it, but strength determines how stiff the suspension is. So we're going to want it, you can see anywhere from like 8% down, it just tips forward. So just leave it at like 35, 34. And we'll go demo this real quick, because this is a totally valid way to do it. Hopefully without tipping over, because you are very front heavy now. You have to be careful. So to activate the drill has two modes. You're going to need to push G while you're sitting in the cockpit. And you can either go to all blocks or block tools and grab the drill. And it just needs to be somewhere on your hotbar. And you can see a weapon switch to drill. But if it doesn't do that, push 9 or push your drill button and you're good to go. So left click harvests in a small radius, and right click destroys in a large radius. So we will demo the right click here and you'll see how big it is. Big hole. Easy to drop the rover in. So if you're going to do this, what I really recommend doing is going again back into the control panel with the wheels. Take all the wheels and the height offset and just lower that sucker down about half. And you'll notice that our drill is now much lower to the ground and making a much smaller hole. And you're just going to creep forward a little bit. And this will keep you from falling in the hole if you can keep perfectly straight. And if you do fall in the hole, it won't be a giant divot like that one. And it will allow you to harvest stone kind of in a straight line or make a trench or whatever. But it'll keep the rover from basically falling into a hole that it cannot get out of, which is very important. So that short little expedition, we got 4K stone or 6K stone in the drill, and that might have been left over. We got 6K stone in the drill. But you can just repeat the process, or what I recommend is just moving to another area. Just move over slightly and then repeat the process. So you can get yourself in trouble very quickly using the destroy function on the drill. Expect your rover to tip over if you're not going to basically skim the top like I am doing. You can lower your drill even farther, and you can have some mixed results, but it just depends. If you're on super flat land, you can just kind of dial it in. Just start high so that you don't fall in. That is the big deal. Once you tip this rover, it takes a long time to rebuild it, which we are going to do in just a moment, because we are pretty much done with this guy. We have cobalt, we have some iron real close to us. You can see it right underneath. So I'm not too terribly worried. And we can get everything else from stone if we have to. But again, I have marked out some deposits: nickel, mag, silicon, cobalt, gold, iron, quite a few. So All these colored blue and white and black blocks are totally superfluous, and you can use them to um, fill in or start your base with, these steel plates. As you're going along and doing this, though, you want to be careful what you grind. Like I just ground down the antenna. If you can, unknown technology. Okay. We'll go in here and see what we need to build to get credit for an antenna. We need to build a beacon. Well, wouldn't you know it, there's a beacon right there. If we can squeeze our way in here and carefully, using C to crouch, grind the beacon down under the functional and hack line, and then weld it back up, well, we got credit for the beacon. And now, we got credit for the antenna. So we don't need either of them. Now, these conveyors, this grinder is just going to obliterate them. So this conveyor junction, I'm pretty sure these small conveyors will work. Let's see if we can. Yep. So the conveyor junction is right behind the cockpit, or wherever it happens to be for you, or just use a small conveyor. And that will give you credit for a whole bunch of stuff that makes base building a bit easier and more fun. So the cargo containers give us access to ejectors and a whole bunch of conveyors and the connector. So another way to do it if you're stuck on solar is get to the connector part by building the cargo container. Build a connector onto the back of your rover. And then a connector onto your base. Use the wheel height offset to adjust it. Back your rover up to say that your survival kit with a connector attached to it. Doesn't matter what it's connected to, but back up to your base and connect by using P, which is also the handbrake. You know when you're close enough to connect because the connector will turn yellow. So that's about all we're going to do today. I'm trying to keep these a little shorter. And we'll work on some more progression in the next one. So if you watch this and all of this, thanks for watching.